Welcome to Travel Stories Unpacked, the travel podcast where we talk about all things from the silly to the serious and everywhere in between. I am your host, Ashley Newton. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending some of your time with me. I really appreciate it, especially knowing how busy everybody is this holiday season. I cannot believe we are already this far into December. I don't know about you. I'm feeling a little bit stressed about my decor and my shopping and everything. And I just feel like, man, could I use a vacation, which is exactly what we are here to unpack today with my guest, Annie Yu. Welcome back to the show, Annie.
Always happy to be back. You know that.
So I really wanted to unpack the idea of holiday travel, those sort of maybe traditions that people have, or even just like bucket list trips that they want to do. And this all came to my mind because of a little, I'm going to say slept on Christmas movie called Christmas with the Kranks. And I love this movie. I'm not going to lie. I feel like it gets a lot of hate, but it makes me laugh. And I love the whole premise. Now, Annie, you've seen this movie.
I have, and it's a pretty obscure movie from, I think, 2004. But, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis can do no wrong in my eyes. But when you mentioned it, I immediately started laughing because I actually saw it in theaters. I think I was in 8th grade. And I was on a date with a boy.
A boy!
A boy. Yeah, clearly. This was before I figured a few things out. And the movie we saw was Christmas with the Kranks.
Oh my God. Like, I literally laughed so hard when you told me that because, like, just imagining you on, like, a little Christmas date with some guy at the movies, which also, weren't those kind of, like, the most awkward dates? Like, movie dates growing up?
So awkward. Even more so because then we got older, got to high school. I ended up dating his sister. I don't think I told you that.
That is the comeback story of the year.
I mean,
Merry Christmas, let's go.
High school relationships, it was 2 months, but might as well have been 2 years.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that is epic. So, and I love that you mentioned Jamie Lee Curtis. So, Christmas with the Kranks is starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen.
I didn't know. You're right. It was Tim Allen.
Yeah.
Because usually Christmas movies, I associate him with Santa, the
Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus,
yeah,
yes.
Of course, which is another like
classic
top tier movie for me. But in Ohio, we actually have this place called Castle Noel, and it is like this huge Christmas museum. It's open year round, but they have all these really cool movie props, and they have Jamie Lee Curtis's outfit that she wore in that movie. Yeah, with the turtleneck and the vest and everything.
That is so much better than the Christmas Story house.
Yeah.
Which we've roasted plenty of times on this show. It's a lug lamp. Get over it, people.
Yeah. So this movie is actually based on a book called Skipping Christmas. So,
Christmas with the Kranks?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
Layers. We're getting into
Whoa,
it.
okay. Interesting.
So, as you can tell by maybe the book title, it's all about this family who decides that they are not going to do Christmas this year because their one and only daughter is doing something with like Greenpeace or something.
I vaguely remember I was getting lost in Tyler's dreamy eyes in the movie theater. I don't remember I remember it was like they originally canceled and then they were like, oh shoot, we're not canceling. So now we're rushing back.
Exactly. And like, it's all
I should write movie reviews.
Yeah. 1 out of 5 stars. Yes. Watch with Tyler. So this family decides the husband and wife that they're not going to do Christmas because their kid is gone. She's traveling on her own, saving the world, doing something. And so Tim Allen gets this brilliant idea to go on a cruise instead. And I think it's even a Carnival cruise. In the movie, they show like the branded posters and everything. So product placement.
Yeah.
Noticed. And they're all so excited. And he brings up how they're even going to save money by going on the cruise. He tallied everything up between one of my favorite Christmas expenses that he tallies is ornament repair.
We got to account for it.
Yeah, I don't know like who's doing their ornament repairs every year, but like, the Christmas cards and your shopping and your food and your decorating. And then when Jamie Lee Curtis finds this out, she's like, oh my God, and we save money? Like, absolutely, let's do it. And then, like you said, chaos ensues when the daughter decides to return.
Which I think is really funny because had they used a travel agent, the movie would have been like 30 seconds long. Like, hey, we actually got to come back. All right, I got you. The end. Roll credits. What a shameless plug there. But I stand by it.
So, that's sort of what got us into this topic. And then Annie went even further and dug up more holiday movies that are around travel.
the first one I thought of before we even talked about this was the Polar Express. Remember that one?
Yes.
For its absolute nightmare-inducing animation.
It's very divisive. Yes.
What's divisive? There's nothing divisive about
People
it.
still, like, for some people, it's their favorite movie. They watch it every year.
So it's also based on a book, I didn't know this, about this boy who is traveling from Grand Rapids, Michigan to the North Pole on Christmas Eve on a train. And I've never seen the full movie. I've only seen snippets, enough to where I was like, I can't watch this. This is scary. Like, it's the lifeless eyes, the like when you look at someone and like you can tell the lights are on, but no one's home.
Yeah.
Like, that's every person in that movie. Like, it's very unsettling. So I'm not a fan of the Polar Express at all.
Have you done, probably not, but did you know that they have like Polar Express routes you can do? Like in Cuyahoga National Valley, they have like a railroad
train,
that does like a Polar Express night.
Absolutely would, but in my mind, it's not the Polar Express, it's the Hogwarts Express.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Yeah,
which
like,
I don't know.
That.
Yeah, and I don't know, at some point over the years, Harry Potter movies started being considered Christmas movies, which I'm totally cool with, because I do watch them every year around the holidays. But at some point, and they always single out the Prisoner of Azkaban, because it has so many scenes.
Does it? I always think of the first one, but I think it's more just like the vibes are so cozy to me in the first one. And then they have the scene where Harry gets like his first gift from like the Weasley family, and he has his own sweater.
Oh, yeah.
And like the wizard's chest over break when everybody else goes home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I always think of like Harry Potter, the first one being the most Christmassy. But I'll have to rewatch the third one now. Yeah.
I mean, it's about the, Azkaban, which just screams Christmas to me.
Yeah, let's go.
Personally. But if speaking of vibes, I feel like the year-round tradition that everyone always argues about is Die Hard, a Christmas movie. I don't know. I've never seen is it the first one? I've seen the other ones, but I've never seen the first one. But
wait, you've seen the other Die Hards, but you haven't seen Die Hard? Why?
I don't know why. It makes no sense. But from what I understand, people say it is considered a Christmas movie because there's a scene that's like Christmassy, which I say by that logic, that means Mean Girls can be considered a Christmas movie because they do the talent show.
Yeah. I actually think you could argue Mean Girls is more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard because of the musical number. But
yes,
here's the thing. If you think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, that's great. I just feel like people get like way too passionate about that. And then that becomes like their whole thing. It's just like, Die Hard's the best Christmas movie. It's the only Christmas movie. And it's like hardly even that though. Like,
but maybe I'll actually watch it in order and decide for myself.
I would like your opinion.
Okay. Yeah. But the thing about the holidays outside of movies is I feel like there's always scenes where people are like running through the airport. Like, first of all, please don't do that. Like, even in like romance movies where it's like, I've changed my mind and I want to come with you. Like, do not skip over the line. Like, do not do that.
Don't do that.
And I would love to see it in person myself and then watch them swiftly get tackled by security. But like, seriously, don't do that, guys. Speaking of airports, I was looking up hacks on how to make your holiday travel a little less stressful. And I did not know this thing existed because I've been on you about getting pre-check / global entry for a long time. And if you haven't gotten it, seriously, if you fly at least 2-3 times a year, it'll pay for itself.
She always like goes through security so much faster and just like waits at the gate, goes and gets like a coffee. And I'm just like,
enjoy the peasant line. I'm going to go to the pre-check. But also global entry too. And it's such a great feeling when you see someone get rejected from that line.
Because they don't belong there?
Yeah. Because they thought it was just another security line. Like, oh, no, my friend. But there are some airports now offering this free service, and you don't have to have pre-check or global entry. You can actually call or go online or whatever and book a spot in the security line ahead of time. Yeah. And it varies from, you can book that spot, I believe, a week ahead to 3 days before your trip. But right now it's only available at a few airports. So the list I wrote down, if you're in these areas, check it out. Let us know if it actually works. But I know that's only available at a few terminals as well. So it's pretty selective, but pretty cool. So if you're in these airport areas, it's Dallas, Fort Worth, JFK, LAX, Newark, Orlando, Phoenix, and Seattle.
Yeah. So, see, like, my mind immediately just goes to, like, I don't trust that you can end the sentence there. I don't trust. But
That's it. That's a podcast.
But like technology especially. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm just supposed to assume that this is gonna work. Like, what if your app crashes? Like, what if like, you know what I mean? And now I don't have my spot. So I'd be very curious to hear from somebody that's used this and how it worked for them.
It's still the regular security line. And note, I did read that if you do have pre-check, you can't use them in tandem. Like you go through one line or the other.
Makes sense.
Another really good tip I didn't know, I never would even think of when you're at the airport is if you are flying with gifts, don't wrap them. Because TSA is gonna take those gifts and because they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And they're gonna unwrap it and undo all your hard work. I don't believe in wrapping gifts anyway. So
I love wrapping gifts. I love it.
I think because I'm just bad at it and I don't enjoy doing things I'm bad at.
I like take it to like a stupid level. Like I match the paper to the person and then I like match like all the like toppings and like bows and like my family does this thing where we'll take old Christmas cards and put that like on the package. So like you rip off the Christmas card and you put that on and I will spend hours making sure that each package is a visual and spiritual representation of the person that I'm giving it to. And they rip it off and don't even notice, but I feel
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like it's all about what's on the inside.
Yeah. No, I mean like I'll take it. I'll take my gifts however you want to give them to me, but I love wrapping. It's fun for me.
But don't do it if you're gonna fly.
Yes. Yep. Right.
But there's like your obvious like, get to the airport early, fly early in the day if you can. If you can avoid connecting flights, book direct.
Always do that.
Yeah. And honestly, if you're worried about flight cancellations because, the weather is bad, it is Christmas time or holiday time, use a travel agent.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like you need to read the fine print. So there's other tips, like obviously pack a carry-on only if you can. So I feel like so far we talked about travel around the holidays in the US. But internationally, there's some really interesting statistics. The one I found being that the Spring Festival in China, or Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, whatever you want to call it, it's the biggest annual human migration event.
Wow.
Can you take a guess how many domestic trips are being taken in that time of 40 days? Because that's how long the festival lasts.
I have no idea. I wouldn't even begin to know where to guess.
9 billion.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been even close to that number.
9 billion trips are being taken in 40 days. That's that travel rush, which is crazy to me. And then also during Golden Week in most parts of Southeast Asia, it's a really busy time too. Golden Week, I believe, is usually around the same time. Or it could be in October. I might be getting two holidays confused, but generally, if you plan on visiting Asia, Southeast Asia at some point, look up when Golden Week is because it does change country to country, and that's typically a week you don't want to visit because travel is just crazy. It's like here, I would say almost like Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend.
That's such an interesting point though, because like you do always think like, oh, like I think even Thanksgiving is a busier travel time in the US than Christmas, but like I wouldn't necessarily think about like checking how, other cultures or other holidays could impact travel that like it just isn't on my radar.
It also works the other way around. International flights are actually cheaper on Thanksgiving because everyone's flying domestically. Wow. Yeah, that's a tip from me to you.
Hey, if you can brave the airport and deal with all that, like just to get that cheap flight, that's a good hack.
Yeah, I mean, if your schedule is flexible, like obviously, like try to fly outside of the actual holiday day. I have such a way with words. Holiday day. Like for instance, my sister's coming home to visit, and she lands Christmas Eve at like 5 p.m. in Cleveland. And I'm already picturing that pickup line at the airport. But my best friend taught me this hack. So if you're going to pick someone up, you're going to arrivals, right? Right. Yeah. So you're going to arrivals.
That always confuses me because like I'm arriving. So I get like so confused.
If it's super busy, I mean, you're not supposed to do this, but I do it every time. Go up to departures and pick them up from departures.
We do not condone this advice.
I'm just saying though. So, because my best friend lives in Seattle, and Seattle airport is just a hot mess.
Yeah.
So she always picks me up when I visit from departures. And because at departures, everyone's trying to get in and out, whereas arrivals, people are just idling.
Yeah.
So
you're like running on fumes. You're like just trying to get home.
Oh my God. Speaking of running on fumes.
I thought this, if you're obviously,
oh my goodness.
You're going to tell the story.
So here's another hack. If you leave your car at the airport and it's cold, make sure you leave it on a full tank. Like, seriously.
Or more than what you had. Like
I had like 30 feet left in my tank. So Ashley and I went on a cruise for work not too long ago, and it was right when the weather was starting to get cold. So you know what happens every year, like your tires, you got to fill them up, and like you really shouldn't.
I haven't
forget
done
to
that
do
yet.
that. Yeah, you probably should. Long story short, I neglected to fill up my gas tank, and I am that person. As soon as that gas light comes on, I hit the gas station, right? But I was running late,
and you were picking me up,
and I was picking you up. It was just crazy. So long story short, I leave my car at the airport with, like I said, maybe 30 feet left in the tank. And I'm like, whatever, I'll deal with it when I get back. Well, when we get back, the responsibilities came around and bit me because you Uber home. It's late. I mean, not to mention what should have been a 6-hour travel day from Florida turned into like a 15-hour thing because of flight delays and all that. She Ubers home, and I get to my car and I get on the highway and I'm thinking, maybe I could make it home. And literally not even 10 seconds later, my engine dies. I have to pull over. It's 1:32 a.m.
Yeah.
And I got to call roadside assistance because I ran out of gas. It's the first time in my life I have ever ran out of gas. And it's because I left it at the airport on empty, basically. And that's what happens. When it gets cold, your gas evaporates. I don't know the physics behind it, but I've learned my lesson.
I'm sitting in bed, warm and cozy, already eating my Taco Bell that I DoorDashed from the airport, so it would be at home waiting for me. And I just looked down, and Annie texted me, and she's just like, so I'm on the side of the highway waiting for AAA. I felt so bad, especially because I was going to text you complaining about my chatty Uber driver. And I was like, no, she's probably just, we need to decompress. We just got home. Like, she's sick of me. And then I see a text from me with the worst news ever. And I was just like,
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, the only thing that I said it to you so many times too on the way home. Like, it'd be kind of crazy if I ran out of gas, right?
Like,
I alluded to that a couple of times during the trip too. I'm like, I think my car will be fine, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that cold in Cleveland right now.
It
was, but then I'm like, because it's something I never do. I'm so responsible about that. Anytime I leave my car anywhere for more than a few days, knowing I'm not going to drive it, I always leave it on a full tank of gas.
Yeah. Oh, man. So live and learn. Live and learn.
Live and learn, man.
All right. So back to traveling around the holidays and what people do there, what we're talking about today.
Oh, sorry.
So like I said, the whole thing sort of started because I wanted to know what people do. So we did like reach out to our listeners and to some of our travel agents with KHM Travel Group and tried to get a sense of what people are doing. So one thing that we did was a YouTube poll asking if people had any travel holiday plans, and the number one winner was taking a cruise during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So like it is definitely a thing. Like Hollywood is not lying to us.
No, not at all. I mean, I think last year Norwegian Joy hosted the first ever Hallmark Channel themed cruise, like with their Christmas movies.
So do you know who was the host of it this year? I think.
No.
Somebody from Mean Girls, Aaron Samuels from Mean Girls, was the host of the Hallmark Cruise.
Tell me
it
debarks. Tell me it debarks on October 3rd.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So like, if you attended this cruise, or if you have any thoughts about it even existing, let us know. Because like, do you watch Hallmark movies? I really didn't think so, but there are people that like hate watch it, or like.
Oh, I love hate watching. I would absolutely hate watch.
So
some Hallmark movies.
Something that we do with my boyfriend's brothers now is, this is the second year we're going to do it, is do a Hallmark Christmas movie bingo. So you have just like generic things that take place in every Hallmark movie. So like people with a Christmas themed name, you get a bingo spot, or like, you know what I mean? So
I never thought about that.
It's fun. Like, cause you're like kind of watching cause you want to win, but you're not like devoted to the storytelling of the Hallmark Christmas movie.
I like the game where you put the Santa hat on the corner of the TV, and every time someone in frame looks like they're wearing it, like you drink or something.
Yeah. Honestly, making up drinking games to movies is like, I'm like really good at this. I'm like, very good at making things into a game or a drinking game. And I have one for National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, is that the one with the Griswold family?
Yeah.
How did we forget to mention that?
I mean, I guess they don't really travel. The family themselves isn't traveling.
Yeah, but
that family members traveling to them.
That's true. It's been a while since I've seen it. I'll watch it right after I watch the first Die Hard.
Yeah, so tons of different movies out there that I guess the more you think about it, you can relate to travel in some way. But we have a story submitted that we can share.
Okay.
So this is a story from one of our coworkers, Amy, who actually, I mean, she loves Disney. Like she is a big, and not Amy that's been on the show before.
No,
if you're a long
it's a
time
different
listener, she's another Amy that loves Disney. But she has done this. She's gone on a Christmas cruise, and it was in 2023 on the Disney Wish. So I just asked her a ton of questions. So I thought we could sort of unpack her experience for anybody that is intrigued by this idea. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Okay. So first, we had to ask the why. And what I loved is that she had actually been on 2 Halloween cruises before this. So she had seen how Disney like decorates for the holidays and was inspired by that and wanted to do it around the Christmas season, especially since they'd already done the parks around the Christmas holidays.
And you love a themed anything.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. I love a good theme. And say what you want about Disney, but they theme like nobody's business. I mean, that attention to detail, and she'll shed some light on that as well. And she did travel with a pretty big travel party. So it was her family, which is her husband and their 2 kids who were 3 and 9 at the time. But then they also traveled with her mother-in-law, her brother, his wife, their 2 kids who were 4 and 7. And then her mom and dad. So they had 4 connecting balcony cabins. So they pretty much took their whole family and just their Christmas celebration and did it on a cruise.
But it's just, me, like, I love solo travel. I did a whole episode about it. So the idea of maybe a cruise is different.
Yeah.
Because you can spread out.
So I asked what the atmosphere was like. And this is how she described it. The ship's grand ballroom was laced with green and gold garland and a giant gold Christmas tree. Throughout the entire ship, there was garland, wreaths, and lights. The characters were out in their holiday outfits for meet and greets. The food at dinner was not themed for Christmas, since each restaurant has its own theme. However, there were Christmas-themed drinks at dinner and also at the lounges and bars. At the sweet shop, they had a lot of really festive treats like cupcakes, cookies, cakes, etc. As far as activities, the kids club on the ship had a lot of cute themed activities that the kids can choose to do, like making ornaments or decorating Christmas cookies. One night, there was a Christmas party with characters that put on a stage show. They even had Santa there to take pictures with the kids in front of the giant tree in the ballroom. Disney even decorated their private island, Castaway Cay, in holiday decor. They had a huge decorated Christmas tree right when you exited the ship. They also put up photo ops with things like snowmen and giant ornaments. It was very nicely done.
Yeah, sounds like it. It sounds intense. It's like a holiday marathon.
Like, honestly, it's just like exactly what I would expect from Disney. You know what I mean? Like every detail, meticulous, and just like beautiful, gorgeous themes. But like, I think especially for kids, like you're not missing out on any of your holiday traditions. I love that they had the opportunity to make ornaments and do the Christmas decorating. And then you're there with all of especially if you're that age, with Minnie and Mickey dressed up. Like for me, my favorite Disney Christmas story is Belle's Enchanted Christmas, and that is the only character I would want to see in her beautiful winter outfit like that. Honestly, I would love that. Do that, Disney. Invite me. I will come. I will talk all about it.
How long was that cruise for?
Oh, did I even ask that? I don't think I asked that.
Because I feel like a themed anything any longer than a few days, wouldn't you kind of get tired of it?
Well, you should see my house, man.
Okay, never mind. No, your house is one thing, but
I get the most out of the theme stuff during the season. But I get, if that's not for you, that's a really important consideration. Will you get sick of it? Are you gonna be full of Yuletide cheer before you even sail away?
It's not that it's not for me. It's just it's not the way I grew up doing Christmas with my family anyway. It was never decorations or anything. It was just a big family dinner and that was it.
Yeah.
So
now a winter theme or a winter destination, I feel like you'd be all about.
Oh,
give you the snow, give you the cold,
absolutely.
But you don't need the garish decor or anything like that.
No,
I do.
It's a little too much for me.
I need the garish decor. Obviously, you gotta understand what you're into and your own expectations. It would be a great fit for me. Well, honestly, I wouldn't know until I did it, but it sounds very appealing to me. Not so appealing to you.
No, for me, a holiday themed trip would be. I've one of my bucket list item places to go is I've always wanted to do the Finnish Lapland. You're looking at me like,
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
And so it's like the backcountry of Finland. It's most famous for, you know, the igloos that people can stay in, see the northern lights. But,
Okay, I'm with you.
yeah, but I mean, they get so much snow, and like that's my jam. Like I want to go play in the snow. I want to go dog sledding. I want to.
You like snowboard or something, right?
Yeah,
Too.
I'll ride a reindeer. Like,
would you eat reindeer?
I have eaten reindeer.
Is it good?
It's gamey.
Yeah.
I guess like when I ate reindeer, it was like jerky.
That's the only way I've ate like non-traditional U.S. livestock. It took a weird turn.
Can you imagine like, yes, that Detroit reindeer.
Well, I think it's easier to ship jerky. But I don't know how we got on this story. Back to the wonderful magic of Disney Christmas. Something that I brought up earlier about why I think I was so impressed with how this went for Amy and her family is that the kids didn't miss out on anything. Mm-hmm. And this next story, I think, is just going to like bring that home. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and this is quoting Amy. One of my favorite things about Disney is the outstanding service. Here is an example. In my family at Christmas time, we don't have Elf on a Shelf. We have Stitch. He's not much different than the elf idea. He's sort of a troublemaker, but he is mainly there to observe your holiday traditions. Each year, Stitch comes back the first day of December, but since we were on the cruise the first week of December, he followed us onto the ship. We explained to our stateroom attendant that Stitch was our elf, and he smiled and told us that he understood. Normally, the attendant comes to the room for cleanup in the morning when you have breakfast, and again at night for turndown service. Since our stateroom attendant was assigned to all 4 of our connecting staterooms in my travel group, Stitch would move throughout all 4 of our cabins. Each time we came back to the room with the kids throughout the day, Stitch was somewhere different, doing something fun. One day he was eating a pile of chocolate and left wrappers all over the bed. Another time he was trying on the kids' sunglasses. One day he was out on the balcony with a book, enjoying the sun. So all of the kids would get so excited to get back to the room so they could hunt for Stitch and see what type of mischief he got into while they were gone. It became such a fun game. I will never forget how magical he made the trip for those kids.
Okay, that's really cute.
Come on.
Stitch as in like Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Which that movie destroyed me emotionally.
Oh.
But,
yeah.
But that's really cute. It means family.
Yeah.
Well, now I deal with the Vin Diesel voice. It means family. It's a weird mashup.
It's the crossover we didn't know we needed. You know how they're making the live action Stitch?
No, I didn't know that.
They are, which, I mean, we'll leave our opinions to that off the air.
If it's anything like the Cats remake, it's
just not necessary.
It'll be the Polar Express of this generation. Just to really bring it all around.
But now we need like just a Vin Diesel cameo, just like on the streets of Hawaii.
Ohana means family.
Hey, Big Hollywood, make this happen,
Please make this happen.
But no,
that is really cute, though. Yeah.
Like, and that's the sort of thing that, like, you don't really feel like you're actually missing out on anything. You still get to have, you know, all of those same experiences. And granted, I mean, Disney took it to the next level. I can't say for sure that you'd have that experience on every single sailing throughout every single cruise line. But for them, it was memory making in the books for sure.
I'm just wondering, what is she going to do next year to top this? You know, because now the kids' expectations are high.
She did say that she would do it again. And I even asked, like, did you miss being home at the holidays? Because, like, as you can tell, I put a lot of time and dedication into, like, my setup. So I feel like I'd miss it. But she said not at all. You know, they got back before Christmas, so they didn't really miss anything. And then they were back in the groove. She does have some advice, though, for people that would be looking to do this themselves. Oh, yeah? Yes. So if you're going on a Christmas cruise or you want to, here's advice from somebody who has done it. Take some vitamin C. It is flu season. I think people already think like, oh, you know, I'm going to do this sort of prep so I don't get sick for my cruise. But you're not also thinking about how like it is just cold and flu season in general. So you got to take like that extra precaution. And she says, but seriously, really consider how you typically feel around the holidays and if traveling will cause you stress or help you relax. If you're the type that gets stressed around the holidays, the extra planning for a cruise could trigger some additional strain and you may not enjoy yourself. Since December can be a very busy month getting ready for Christmas, what really helped me keep this trip stress-free was preparing for Christmas extra early. I tried to make sure I had everything in order well before the cruise, so I was able to just relax and enjoy the downtime rather than worry about what I needed to do when I got home. If you're the type that is looking for experiences over material possessions, a cruise is a great gift for the holidays. The memories are priceless. So, Amy, thank you so much for sharing your story. And like my family, if you want to do this, hit up the group chat. Let's make it happen because my niece and nephew are so at that, not quite, but definitely at that age where it would be fun next year.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's because they're not just staring at a screen the whole time. They're actively engaged with everything that's happening on the ship. And it's a theme. So, I mean, they know what to expect. And I'm sure their expectations were more than met by, what was it? Disney?
Yeah.
You said? Yeah.
And the Disney Wish, I think specifically, was the ship.
Good for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just blew my mind, the attention to detail. But we did sort of ask our other travel agents what they do around this time. So I wanted to just kind of shout out to some of the agents that shared their stories with us and what they're doing. We had a lot of Thanksgiving cruisers as well.
Why do you think that is?
I
don't associate Thanksgiving with cruising.
I don't. Maybe it's because there isn't a movie about it yet. Once they make the movie about Christmas with the Kranks, but it's Thanksgiving with the Johnsons, then I'll think of that. We have Yvette from Sweet Exits Travel, who said that after visiting their family in Virginia for Thanksgiving, that they were heading to Tampa to board the new Margaritaville cruise.
Ooh,
so that's you get both, right?
Yeah.
And it's if you're already traveling, maybe you're closer to a cruise port, and then you just keep going.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then we have Walter of Where's Walter's Travel, who just gave so much information about what it's like. I mean, he's constantly on a cruise. So he said that he's taken 5 Thanksgiving cruises and that those were the best way to spend that holiday. So he is sold on Thanksgiving cruises. But he's also said that he is now taking them over Christmas. And he says, I think it will most likely be how we spend Christmas and New Year's moving forward. On a ship. Yeah. And he brings up specifically on Thanksgiving, a fun tip here that to skip Thanksgiving dinner in the main dining room, but on a mainstream ship, but to go to the buffet where they're usually have a turkey carving station and all of the sides that you'd expect, but that the buffet is actually better than MDR in his experience. And he's done this 5 times. Yeah. So I'm going to take Walter's word for it. But then
I just think of Thanksgiving cruise and my mind goes to the Mayflower.
That's hilarious. The Santa Maria.
Yeah, it's so wrong. I know, but my mind's which landed at Plymouth Rock, your favorite place in the world.
Moving on. He also talks about your favorite cruise line that you've never been on yet.
Virgin Voyages. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. They sailed there last year for Thanksgiving, and he said that dinner all 8 nights at their restaurants, but they each had a different take. So since all the restaurants are small and made to order on Virgin Voyages, that it was a cool experience with different takes on Thanksgiving food. So, I mean, dining on Virgin Voyages seems different in general to a cruise dining experience. So if you've sailed with them either for the holiday or just in general and want to share your opinions, we'd love to hear it. And then, he talks about a Christmas cruise on Oceania. So the Christmas cruise on Oceania featured a ton of baked goods always available in the main atrium, along with a beautiful gingerbread display. I don't know that anything was particularly different or special other than the baked goods. Of course, we were on Oceania, so the food was ridiculously good no matter where we ate. We're expected to compare the experience with Azamara this year. So again, keeping this tradition alive. So I love that.
Fancy.
Walter, let us know when you get back from your Azamara cruise what your favorite things were. We have a few more. Oh, this one I loved because it wasn't about going on a cruise, but just going on a destination Christmas in general. And this was from Kimberly from Plaid Suitcase Travel. She has adult children now, and she was talking about how they prefer destination Christmas, which makes a ton of sense if your kids are spread out throughout the country, you've got family everywhere, you're not really, somebody's traveling anyway. So I thought that was, that makes a ton of sense. But I loved this note that she had in here about how they're making new traditions as they take the holidays on the road. And she just purchased a Lego dried flower set so they can make their holiday table centerpiece.
Oh, okay. That's cute too.
Come on, how cool
Okay,
is that?
that's really cool. I like that idea.
I thought that was so creative, and like you still get that homey feeling. Maybe it's even something you can do together, like once you're all there. So like, way to go, Kimberly. I loved that story.
I have to steal that idea from you because my nieces are traveling home from Japan for the holidays. So
Another travel agent, Sue of Sue's Travel Connections, is taking a family cruise with her kids and grandkids for their first ever cruise. So we hope you have a ton of fun with your family, Sue, and, let us know how it went. Again, not another cruise Christmas, but Missy from Forgotten Dreams Vacations did a Broadway Christmas, which I am like,
Broadway
absolutely
Christmas.
about. Yeah, we got 2 tickets.
Oh, like Broadway.
Yeah, we got tickets to 2 touring Broadway shows our girls had wanted to see, and that was their big Christmas gift. I was surprised too, though, with tickets to a show that I wanted to see. Although we didn't actually travel at Christmas, they were great Christmas gifts that we still talk about. And the shows were in Cincy and Columbus, so they had to travel a few hours to go see them. So not full-blown travel, but still the idea of giving like
it's
a
road
little
trip.
Yeah, instead of a gift, like a physical gift.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I'm not opposed to getting those sorts of gifts myself. Wink, wink.
Hint, hint.
And then we have a last story here from Mandy of Derek's Destinations, who is doing a cruising back-to-back over Christmas on the Utopia.
Whoa,
this year.
That's the big one, right? One of the big ones.
Huge ship, and it's their first Christmas being away. So looking forward to the cruise, but unsure how I'll feel about being away for Christmas. And only having their 15-year-old with them and missing the rest of the family. And, I think when it comes down to it, that pretty much sums up my feelings. It's like I'm so intrigued by the idea. I think it would be so much fun. Heck, if you can even save money like they claim in Christmas with the Kranks, although that was early 2000s, prices are different now. But it's like, it's so appealing, but then am I going to get that homesick feeling? Am I going to wish that I was still at home? Amy didn't at all. So who knows?
I doubt that. I think by the time you're on your 3rd espresso martini, you're going to be loving life.
Well, it wouldn't be an espresso martini. It would be like a Santa's chimney martini or something.
Is it like a smoked drink?
They just like all need names, you know what I mean? Like they can't just be a regular drink. It has to be like a Christmas drink. So Annie, I think I already know, but would you do this?
No. That's just not my type of travel. But because I don't have family like that, you know what I mean? Like all my nieces and nephews are grown. Like we don't have like kids. So
yeah.
And yeah, it doesn't fit my type of family.
Absolutely.
So
I would absolutely do it. So let us know. Are you an Annie or are you an Ashley? Does this appeal to you? Does this not appeal to you? Do you have travel plans? We want to hear all about it. Oh, and you can drop a comment, of course, but you can also reach out to us directly if you're listening to this podcast on your favorite podcast platforms. If you go into the description, you can send us a text right through that link. So feel free to do that and share your stories with us. And you can also email us if you want to go more in depth, like our friend Amy did with her Christmas cruise on the Disney Wish. You can email us directly at travelstoriesunpacked@gmail.com. So that's travelstoriesunpacked@gmail.com. And keep coming back on Fridays as we're going to keep unpacking all things travel. And next week, we have a really special announcement for you guys about our plans for 2025. So be sure to tune in. This podcast is brought to you by KHM Travel Group, a leading host agency for independent travel agents. Go to khmtravel.com to learn more.